Okay, hi, good morning. This is Charles Kelly, Money Tips, bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, accumulate and enjoy more money. Today I want to give you 10 quick, simple tips to avoid Christmas debt and those January blues that later on come back to haunt you. So before I get into it, do like and share, and do check out my free training at the end and in the description. So Christmas might be a time for giving, but for many it can be very stressful, and it doesn't mean that you have to give so much of yourself and that you end up with a headache in January. Christmas, yes, it is a time for giving, but it doesn't mean you have to get into debt and give stuff that you can't afford to people that don't even want it, or you may not even like. There's often this tendency to give things to people, and then they feel that they have to give you something back. And you might be able to afford something, and you're giving something to somebody, and then you're passing on an obligation for them to give back something to you. So it can cause a lot of problems, and Christmas is not a fun time for everyone. Remember that a lot of people are alone at Christmas, and perhaps all they need is a phone call or a card or just pop in to see them. But what I'm saying to you now in the money terms is, don't get into Christmas debt and end up maxing out your cards and all that sort of stuff, and then paying it off later on throughout the year. This is what I would call the silly season now. It's we go around buying stuff for people. We listen to these Christmas songs in the shops, the same old songs, isn't it? The Slade and Mariah Carey, and I wish it could be Christmas every day. I don't. I think it's all a bit crazy. You're rushing around, stuck in traffic, pushing and shoving in the shops, buying too much food, eating and drinking too much. So as you can probably guess, I'm not that great a fan of Christmas, but I want to give you quick tips, because it's so easy to overspend. It's so easy to go for those offers and end up regretting it later, and especially when it comes to food and that sort of thing. You don't want to be throwing food away in January, right? So think about how much you can afford before you start. But here's 10 quick tips. Well, first of all, set a budget for yourself. Have you got a budget, or do you just sort of drift into Christmas and buy and buy and buy? Don't overspend. Stick to your budget. Second thing is, plan early. Well, it's only November, and there's already Christmas ads on TV. Oh my God, we're here again. But it's only November, so it gives you plenty of time to start planning, so that you don't get that panic situation. So start planning now. That gives you plenty of time to go on to my third point, which is to shop around for deals, especially for food and drinks. I mean, look at the supermarkets. The difference between, say, a Waitrose and an M&S to a Lidl and an Aldi. There's a huge difference, and there's not the huge difference in quality, I think. And you can also save a lot of money by buying the own brand stuff that you get from the supermarkets. Look for discount codes and offers. If you Google discount codes and offers, there's loads of stuff out there that you can find on Google, which will give you those codes and those discount vouchers that you can use online. But that doesn't mean you should go mad on Black Friday. I just want to say something about Black Friday. That if you're looking for something and you've been looking for, say, a gadget or some item, and it's normally £100, $100, and then you see it on Black Friday for $50 and you buy it, then you've saved $50. But if you're looking around on Black Friday and you're just browsing through and you get these offers in your face, and you buy something for £50, $50, and then you didn't really need it, you didn't really want it, then you haven't really saved $50. You've spent $50. You've wasted $50. You've used up that money that you would otherwise have just used for something else. Do you see what I mean? Black Friday's fine if you're already planning to buy a laptop, and then you'd have been studying the market and you find what you want on the Black Friday. I think a lot of the Black Friday and all these things are a little bit of a con, because you can put something on the market a day before Black Friday, and for £1,000, and then reduce it on Black Friday to 800. But you only had it on the market for a day. It's not genuinely a big reduction. A lot of people, even in the January sales, bring in stock that is only for the sales. It's not genuinely a sale item. So do look out for that. Other things to check out: interest-free deals on larger items. in some of the stores you can get interest-free payments for a year or two, and also look for 0% finance on cards to help get your card spend down. You may already have a big balance already. Maybe transfer that to a 0% card to give you a bit of breathing space. Now, the other tip I'd give you, obviously try and pay off any card payments straight away if you can in full. Buying by card, by the way, gives you a lot of consumer protection. If things go wrong with goods, you can send them back. If you've ordered something from a company and it goes bust, like a furniture company recently here went broke, if you're buying with a card, the credit card is jointly and severally liable for the goods that you buy through them, even if you only pay a deposit with the credit card and pay the rest in cash or by a different means. So buying by credit card gives you that peace of mind and security if anything goes wrong. So do use those, but try and pay them off as soon as possible. Don't end up paying a lot of interest throughout the next year. If you can, hold off large purchases until after Christmas, because things do come down after Christmas. There's no doubt about it that the peak time is coming now, but in January a lot of stuff will come down in price if you know what you're doing. You can't say to your kids, no, I'm not, here's your present, but you can't get it until the day after Christmas. Well, that's not quite what I'm talking about here. But if you've got something and you're trying to buy a large item for your partner, talk to them and say, look, we can probably get this in January cheaper. And I'm sure most people would agree with that. And that brings me on to my next point, number 8, is to discuss, if you've got a big extended family, a lot of friends, and you keep spending out a lot of money at Christmas, why not sort of discuss having a bit of a truce? Say, well, like, instead of us buying lots of presents, why don't we let's hold off purchases. Let's not buy anything. Let's just buy say some sort of Secret Santa type of thing. Hold maybe a truce and say, look, don't buy. I'm not going to buy anything for Christmas this year. Don't buy me anything. It's as simple as that, really. And that then brings me on to number 9, is to, if you are going to be buying presents, then maybe discuss also perhaps having a price limit on the gifts, like a Secret Santa type of thing, just a price limit. Or say, look, I don't need anything. I mean, I don't really need anything Christmas. I don't really want somebody to buy me a pair of slippers or a Christmas pair of socks. Do I really need that? I mean, in a way, I'd rather say, don't buy me anything, or give money to this charity that I'm raising money for. Have a fundraising GoFundMe page and say, instead of buying me, I wouldn't put it like this, but instead of buying me a naff scarf or something, why not put that money, that 10 or 15 pounds, into my favourite charity on my GoFundMe page, that sort of thing. I think if you could discuss these things logically, then rationally, then maybe some people might be relieved that you're having a truce on presents, and it's just something that you can do to save your money, but also save their money, because maybe they can't afford to buy you something back, as naffy as it may seem. Now, this doesn't mean not buying your partner, your loved one, or your children a present on Christmas. No, I'm not saying that, right? Still, but when you've got a big extended group of people that you're buying for, that can be very, very difficult. So do discuss that. And number 10 is to, this is the final kind of tip, really. Don't neglect your bills and your rent, for instance, to buy Christmas presents. That's not the way to do things. Your bills and your essential things come first. Christmas presents come later. Even if if you're really broke, you have to discuss with your kids, look, we just can't do this. I'm sorry, but this is the situation. The bills have gone up, that's gone up. I can't afford to buy you that game or that bike or whatever you wanted for Christmas. It's going to have to wait, okay? So don't neglect your bills to go out on a limb to buy things that you'll later regret. And you don't want to get into arrears with things. You don't want to get bad credit history, right? So be careful of that. Now, as I said, not everyone celebrates Christmas or even looks forward to it, but that's okay. Just think about those people that don't. And finally, I would say, just enjoy a simple Christmas. When you sort of get back to basics, Christmas was all about giving something of yourself, not just giving a gift. At the end of the day, it's one day a year. It's a Christian ceremony, which, you know, a lot of people in this country are not Christian, so not everyone celebrates it in the same way, but I think people join in with it. But it's become so overblown, hasn't it? It's starting in, you know, November, October even, and it's just become such an overblown thing. Even the holiday season in between Christmas and New Year, it seems to get longer and longer. You know, people are knocking off days before Christmas and not coming back until, you know, the first week in January. It has got ridiculous. It can be frustrating if you're trying to do business. You're trying to get hold of that solicitor and he's closing from the 22nd of December until the new year. You know, you want to get things done, right? So it's all become a bit overblown in my opinion. So just get back to basics and enjoy being with family. That's what it's really all about, being with family. And if you are a Christian, you go to church and that sort of thing. But that's what it really is all about. Of course, in the Jewish tradition, they've got Hanukkah. Other traditions have different ways of celebrating holiday seasons at different times of the year. But, you know, with the cost of living getting worse, just be careful, okay? And if you need any help with how to get control of your finances and your income and your expenditure, do check out my free training in the description below. That's all for now. Do have a nice Christmas, whatever you're doing. I know it's still November, but just enjoy your day. It's a beautiful day here in London in November. The sun's shining through my windows, you can see. But stay safe out there and have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye for now.